Years ago tonight, 200 years of British colonial rule in India came to an end and the country was partitioned into two independent nation-states, Hindu-majority India and Muslim-majority Pakistan. It led to one of the largest mass migrations ever recorded, with an estimated 12 million people on the move. Muslims journeyed to West and East Pakistan, now known as Bangladesh, while Hindus and Sikhs headed in the opposite direction. Communities that had coexisted for centuries succumbed to sectarian violence. Hundreds of thousands were killed, tens of thousands of women were abducted on all sides. India and Pakistan became independent at the same moment, at midnight, as August the 14th, 1947 gave way to August the 15th. Pakistan now celebrates its Independence Day on August the 14th and India on August the 15th. Former cricketer and Pakistani politician Imran Khan spoke to the BBC's Inzi Rashid. He says the situation between India and Pakistan is the worst it's ever been.
Partition was 5 years old when I was born. So I vividly remember the trauma of the partition. Trauma suffered by the people all around us. And we grew up with this hatred. There was this hatred against India.
Cricket is probably the most common thing that brings the two nations together. And if we roll back to your years of playing cricket, what was it like playing India?
The crowds were just so passionate about you beating India. Somehow, the crowds forced the players to really play. It almost transcended as if it was no longer a cricket game. It became more than a cricket game when you played India, and it was forced by the crowds.
Did it ever get to a point of your knowledge that it ever turned violent in any India-Pakistan clashes that you were part of?
In 1987, the crowds were hostile. I still remember in Ahmedabad, we were playing a test match, and it wasn't very pleasant because normally you expect rivalry and you expect passion in the crowd, but you don't expect crowds to be throwing stones at fielders standing on the boundary line. So I remember there was hostility there, and that was a surprise.
Talk about the situation right now in Pakistan and on the borders with India. Can you tell the people back in the UK what the situation is?
The current situation is probably the worst it's been between India and Pakistan. The main reason is because India has a Prime Minister who has not risen above his communal thinking, his association with Hindu extremists, his background where there was this massacre in Gujrat of Muslims when he was the chief minister. Somehow we expected that when Narendra Modi would become the prime minister, who would rise above this. But I have to say we're all so disappointed because Narendra Modi has not just disappointed Pakistanis. He's disappointed Muslims in India.
If we take the situation that is now then, and we translate that now into British life, there's British Indians and British Pakistanis who are probably hearing stories from both sides. How do you think that affects people back then?
The British Indian Pakistani society has power because they have resources, they are rich, they are influential. They are the ones who should force especially someone like Narendra Modi to move towards peace.
But do you feel there's maybe a lack of education? There's a lack of understanding of exactly what the situation is like, even back to 1947, of how that developed?
In the curriculum, there should be an attempt by the British authorities to make people understand what exactly happened in 1947. And if they understand that, then they would understand the genesis of this animosity between the two countries.
And 70 years, it is a celebration at the end of the day. How much of a special occasion is this?
It's a very special occasion because, you know, and you will see that when you go out on the streets. People come out and celebrate. And there is this desire in the people that, you know, they want to celebrate a Pakistan that it should have been and it hasn't been, you know.
Imran Khan talking about partition.